We're excited to have you all on. We have got Great Strides coming up. We've got an Xtreme Hike coming up. So we've got a lot of fundraising going on. So like I said, our 5 presenters tonight have collectively raised well over $1 million in their times with the foundation. So huge shout out. Just to get started, I'm just going to call on our presenters really quick. And if you could just introduce yourself, tell us your team name and your walk site and how long you've been participating in Great Strides or in your events. So Emily, I'm going to start with you, not to put you on the spot.
Hi, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
So I'm from the Western New York chapter, specifically the Rochester branch. I've been participating Great Strides since it opened back from COVID. I was going to do it, and then it closed down, I believe, in 2020 or 2021. And so we've attended, I believe it's been the past 2 years at Genesee Valley Park in Rochester. It's called Team Blakely. That's my daughter. She's 3-year-old, born with cystic fibrosis. And anyone that needs a team, tell them to join Team Blakely. We're always accepting anyone and everyone. And yeah, that's a little bit more, I'll tell a little bit more about it, obviously, as we go around. But yeah.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you. Mary, how about you?
Hi guys, I am Mary Michaels. I had Team Tess, and we have been involved with the CF Foundation. She is now 23 years old, and she was diagnosed at 14 months old. So that was our first year. So we're going on about 22 years. In all sorts of events, we do the Great Strides, the Xtreme Hike, and whatever there is, we're always a part of it. And I'll be glad to share all the different fundraising that we do whenever you call on me.
Okay, excellent. Deb, how about you?
My name is Deb Friedson. I'm part of Northeast New York, Great Strides at presently. From the time my son was, I think 3 days after he was out of the hospital when he was first diagnosed at age 9, I walked into the CF Foundation. And so for 29 years, we've been fundraising, everything from the gala to the wine opener to then we settled on Great Strides. So I'm like you, Mary. My son's a little older. He is now a father of a 3-year-old. And yeah, so it's very exciting. I'll be tempted to show her picture after, but we're very involved. I consider people in the CF Foundation my family. So welcome to the family. I hope I'm part of yours and you're part of mine. And I will share more after. Emily, I want to hear more about your daughter. So hopefully we'll hear more about her later.
She's pretty cute.
Excellent. And last but definitely not least, can we hear from Heather and Kelly?
Hi, I'm Heather. I am Kelly. We are, our team is for Jules. It stands for Julia, who is our sister, who has cystic fibrosis. She was diagnosed when she was, I think, 13, and she's 43. So we've been doing this for, I think, 15 years now. Maybe longer, I don't even know. But we're basically like a grassroots campaign, team, right?
Yeah.
I mean, most of our fundraising is done on social media and email newsletters, and we don't have much corporate sponsorship, but we've managed to pull in some good money, and yeah, we have a lot of tips to share.
Great. Well, you know what? Since we ended with you, let's start with you. You guys want to start us off on the tips and tricks?
Sure. I mean, you wanna start off with something?
Sure. Like Kelly said, we do most of our fundraising through social media. We do various things throughout the year, but our main fundraising event is Great Strides. So we really kind of start about like 6 weeks before the walk usually.
Mm-hmm.
And we find that we get a lot of success that way, that way it's not like, we try to make it an annual campaign. Keep people kind of updated throughout the year, but really kind of go hard a couple, like a month or a little more than a month before the actual walk.
Yeah, I think like what's worked for us is just making it a yearly thing, so that we're not, we feel like we're not pestering people, or you know, like we just don't want people to think, oh hey, I just gave these guys money like just the other day. Like we really try to make it like, hey, it's that time of year again. You know, it's time for the Great Strides Walk. We just like having it on an annual kind of basis, because it gives us time to sort of like, you know, prepare ourselves and get our newsletters together. And we do kind of a lot of editing. Like I usually construct a newsletter, and I have an Excel sheet that I've saved from over the years where I have several hundred like email addresses from people who've donated in the past, and you can get those from the Great Strides website. You can download an Excel file, you know, of all your past donators, and I usually keep the form pretty like organized, where like if I don't see somebody has donated in the last couple of years, I'll like kind of take them off the list, or I'll add people, you know, when they have. But usually I spend a day to write like a real heartfelt kind of letter about what Julia has been through
in the past year,
in the past year, right?
Whether it's, you know, her hospital visits, or she had a really great year, this treatment has helped her this year. That way people know where the funds are going, and we try to keep it really personal. Try to include Julia. She just actually recently, what do you say, over the last like maybe 5 years, has become more comfortable sharing more. She was definitely someone with CF who kept it very private, which we're hearing is common, or at least was. I feel like it's gotten so much better. But she's really comfortable now sharing. So pictures of like different things that she's going through. When it's time to raise the money, we share her stories, share those pictures. And
yeah, even if they're like hospital visits, you know, she's cool with us sharing them. I think this year we're going to go hard on the Trikafta though, because it's like changed her life. It's like, you know, I think it's been like 8 months she's been off of breathing treatments, because her doctors are like, you don't need them anymore. You know, the Trikafta is just like a game changer. So I think I'm gonna sit down with her, talk to her a little bit about what the drugs have, you know, how they've improved her life, and also a huge theme lately for me has been her as a 43-year-old adult, because when she was diagnosed, we were told she wasn't going to, you know, make it to be 18 years old, you know, in 1980. When was she born? 1981. Yeah. So like that's a huge thing for us, and it's just going to show that, I mean, I really do believe that, like, you know, this is going to be a manageable disease. I think people are going to be living
and helping people understand that. I think it definitely draws in donors.
Yeah, and another tip we have is just, you know, we split. Luckily, we're in a big family, so we split up our campaign, so everybody kind of reaches out to their own like friend group, and we just get a lot of hits. It's been cool. And our proudest moment was probably when we hit the $20,000 mark. I think that
we were just discussing this before starting this, and we're like, remember when it was a huge deal? We got like $3,000, and which is great. Anyone that's maybe just starting out, $3,000 is amazing. But each year it got bigger and bigger, and it motivates us. It actually, over time, we've been we've been doing it maybe 15 years. There are people that donated that first year. They are excited to see those numbers growing too. They're motivated to share. We always make sure, like, when we're doing this, both of our Facebooks are usually private, but during the month that we're trying to raise money, we make sure everything's public. Invite people to share this with their families. We make sure to tag anyone that has donated to thank them, and again, like, they're motivated to then help the cause as well. So
Right. Yeah.
How often do you guys post, like, throughout the month leading up to the walk?
Almost daily when
I'm
we're
gonna say
doing.
I do it like daily, maybe every other day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe every other day is
Mhm.
more accurate for that month leading up.
And we'll do stories, posts. That, like I said, like, I'm kind of like, my role has been sort of like the email newsletter
Yeah.
role, where like everybody else is kind of like the social media. You guys are younger.
Yeah,
maybe.
I
I'm the
do.
older one anyway.
I
I'm
do
kinda old
more.
school.
I do more of the social media, I'd say.
And then for the newsletter, do you send that out once, or do you send that out multiple times?
I usually send it out once, and then when it gets to the maybe like a week before the walk, I'll send out another one that's basically like, to everybody who's donated so far. Thank you. This is incredible. You're making a huge life in my sister's, or a huge difference in my sister's life. If you haven't yet, you still have time. You kind of give them that, like, there's still time. And I give them like another week. And then I also say too in the newsletter, like, if you can't, make it for the walk, you can continue to donate to the, Cystic Fibrosis Foundation all year long. And another important thing to remember in newsletters is always blind carbon copy. So BCC your newsletter so it looks personal, and you don't have a list of a million email, in the header that people see, so that it feels more, they don't feel like, they're just like a fish in the sea. It's more like personal and geared towards them. So I found that worked really well. And I get back a lot of like heartfelt, responses, which is really motivating too.
That's great. I love that you have stayed so organized and kept your Excel spreadsheet. And I'm going to put a plug in too. If there's other people on here who haven't been as organized, reach out to your staff person at your chapter, because we can pull reports of all your past donors for like the last 4 to 5 years. So if you need those, we can absolutely get those, and then you can start keeping track.
Yeah, exactly.
There's going to be time for questions at the end, so we're just going to move on now to Deb. Deb, can you talk a little bit about, what you do?
Yes, we have a lot in common. My son is 38. So what we do is we're a very small team. It's my son and his wife, Olivia, and my husband and I. And if we really have trouble with people joining our team, but we have like, to date right now, I have 100 donors who have already donated. I do start early. I start in March. We started, like you, very small and excited over small amounts of money. But I realized from talking to people at National that it's really, we're all on the same team, that all our money adds up, whether you raise small amounts or large amounts. And that's what I've told people who I work with. But in terms of my method, it's similar, but there's a quote on the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation site that talks about attacking the disease from every angle. And that's my philosophy and how I fundraise. So I send out over 200 letters, like you said, with blind copies to people. That's one thing. So I send out my letters. Then I do 30 letters, about 30 letters snail mail. I do Facebook Messenger. I'll remind people if they have not donated yet. I keep track of who has donated last year. If they haven't donated, I told Michelle, they know I'm coming for them, which is terrible. But these people have become invested in my son's life from the time he was 9 years old. And he was also told he would only live till he was 18. We were told that, never have children. It was pretty much, they sat us around a table and told us everything that was going to go wrong with him through his life and what would happen. And oh, I want to give a plug for the book called Breath from Salt, which is an incredible book that has been written about the process of moving ahead from death sentence to where we are today. It's a very long book. It's worth every minute of your time of reading to help you understand and help us understand. But I'm also very big into the science piece. So I will get on there and write people specifically what's happening with the research, what we have accomplished, thanking people for getting us to the point where we're on Orkambi. Thank you for getting, this is what's happened this year. Very similar to what I'm sure a lot of you do. I'm very clear about that your money has gone to this. This is what we have made happen together. My son is a father because of you. So people are invested in my son's life and his little family. They're so excited. So the fact that they were able to have Harper was just unbelievable. So our donations have jumped up. I want to check with my notes to see if there's anything else that I wanted to share. I think knowing that CF is one of the most amazing miracles in science today is incredible. You may have to cut me off if I talk too long.
No, hey Deb, can you talk a little bit about your customized sponsor proposal that you send out?
Oh yeah,
Don't you?
that
Yeah.
that was on my list. Okay, so I think one of the best innovations we came up with a number of years ago was not a lot, maybe 6-7 years ago, was having sponsorship levels for donors. So I started low at, here's some suggestions. If you want to be a white rose sponsor, a yellow rose sponsor, I just made up all these colors. And it starts at 18 and then goes to, 36, and then it goes up to 50 and to, something like that. I decide to reach high for 500, 250, 100. I actually have a friend who sets a bar every year, who I give a lot of credit to. She changes her amount and she's been adding to it. And I find that it influences people. But we live in a community where my husband and I have grown up. We know a lot of people. I'm a teacher from the district. We're very active in our synagogue. We're Jewish. And to be honest, a lot of our donations come from our members because they are other families. So so now what's happened is I started low and then I went up higher, and now I'm actually getting donations for 100, 250, 500, and last year we got our first 1,000, and this year I have 3,000 so far. So
Wow.
it has just grown. And so we also just reached our 20,000. I don't know if it was last year, the week or the year before, but that has been my greatest thing that I wanted to share. And I had another note. Let's say, blah, 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 blah. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, the approaching it from all angles. So there's nothing, if I don't hear from somebody, if yes, like you, I'll let somebody drop off, or if they've dropped out for whatever reason, then are some people that I have to let go. But most people will say to me, and this is when I teach about fundraising, this is what I say is, you are not asking for money, you people know this, for your own pocket. It's not going to hurt to ask. The only thing somebody can say is no, or their actions will say no. So I find, like today I was on there, I brought in 165 by like noontime because I had written some people. Just want to remind you, are you able to help us this year? Thank you so much for reminding me. And I have a friend who's a professional fundraiser who taught me to ask and not to be afraid to ask. And the worst thing that's going to happen, again, is they're not going to donate. So if you don't take it personally and you just try, you would be, I can't tell you how many people thank me for asking them. They want to help our kids, our sister, our brother, our, whoever it is.
Thank you so much, Deb. That's
I can keep
awesome.
going, but I'm not
That
going to
is
because I'm so
awesome.
interested in what you have to share. Thank you, and it's a pleasure to meet you.
Hey, Mary, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
All right. I don't know if I have a lot of crazy tips like you guys have, but I think a lot of our success has come from besides the people that support us and surround us every day, because they donate, or they not only donate but they also fundraise for us. So I think asking our team to also fundraise, so that's helped to bring in a lot of money as well. But some of the things that we do has supported either our hike or the Great Strides Walk is we do a lot of small events. So one of the things that we do is a thing called Tips for Tess, and that's at one of our local ice cream stores. And for a week, they allow us, or they put out a jar that the patrons will tip, and it'll say Tips for Tess. It'll have a little blurb, and the staff basically gives up their tips for a week. And we've raised thousands that way throughout many years. We skipped it, I think, through like COVID and stuff, but that's another thing that's on our list to do this year. One of the other events that we do is a guest bartender event. We have a local bar that are very good friends of ours, and they have allowed us to use their bar for basically any type of event. But yearly we do a guest bartender. We've switched it up with different guest bartenders. It can be somebody that's like that thinks they're famous, or me, or this year we're actually splitting it with another team, which I wish I didn't agree to that, and because I just found out that I have 8 of my neighbors are now doing the Xtreme Hike, and they each have to raise $2,500 a piece. So but anyway, the other thing that family members have done, and she's actually on here, I want to give her a shout out, Mallory. She will do a lot of fundraising for her events, and she motivates people by usually putting posts on social media. She does Instagram, and she's very clever in how she does it. She basically will, say like, basically CF, and she'll give statistics, or she will mention, something about Tess, something personal about her, how Trikafta has benefited her, things like that. So she'll run for, I'm not sure, I'd love for her to pop on, but I won't make her do that. But she'll like run miles for money. So if somebody gives her $100, she'll run 10 miles, and she'll say, thank you, this run is for this person. So that's a little shout out there. The other, besides the guest bartender event, what we do is the bartender, or the bar gives us 2 hours, and for those 2 hours we have our people behind the bar serving, but there's jars that are tips, and all the tips for those 2 hours will go to CF. We usually raise a couple $1,000s there as well. One of the other things we do at that same bar is a pitch tournament. If any of you are into cards, a friend of mine organizes this pitch tournament every year. One of the things that she does leading up to the pitch tournament is a lottery board. So that's something that I think could bring in some good money. She just, out of her own pocket, she will donate $100 worth of lottery tickets, and she will put it on a poster board, and she will just social media the heck out of it. And she said, she texted me today, she goes, it was up for 24 hours and I already raised over $300. So again, she's going to keep that continuous up until the pitch tournament. And then the day of, she'll pick a number, and I don't know, people go crazy over lottery tickets. One of the other things that has raised money in the past that I did not do this year were brackets. You could do brackets for the Super Bowl. I know that's pretty early, but you could do it for the Super Bowl. You could have done it for the NCAA, stuff like that. So that can help raise money as well. I already mentioned the pitch tournament, and one of the other biggest things are anybody that has works for a company that matches funds. So that's where I think that we get a good portion of ours is when we, have let people know that we can get the funds matched, whether it's the company or a lot of my friends work for pharmaceutical companies. They were able to get their donations matched. And I mean, those are all the things that I can think of as far as events and stuff like that. But I also, like Deb, and I think Team for Jules, we do a letter that kind of talks about the updates on tests throughout the year. And Amy always helps me with that, and I know I need to get it out.
This is going to be my prompt.
Yes. So yeah, these guys are awesome. Amy, I can't thank you enough, but you help me get these letters out, and I do a hard copy letter, snail mail, and then I also send emails out. And I would say that the majority of the people nowadays will donate online, which is a lot easier. But Amy will always make sure to put the QR code on the letters because a lot of people just use their phones and be able to do it online that way. But we are just only as good as the people that surround us, and we have a lot of great support. So, and I think that about does it, right?
That's great. That's great. You guys hustle. You guys hustle. I want to turn it over to Emily, who also has some other, very cool things.
Yeah, so I do 2 events mainly each and every year, and then other events I try to always help out with and add to the number of things we're doing each year that brings diversity. But one of them is obviously Great Strides, and then the other one that I do spaced apart is Hops and Hounds. So Hops and Hounds I started as part of the finance program 3 years ago, and then continued it. So basically, I own Paws and Claws Pet Care. So it's a dog boarding, cat boarding, dog daycare, grooming and training. And so my customers basically, I started to invite to enjoy time with their dog, whether it's the walk at Great Strides, one paw forward and Great Stride, as well as the Hops and Hounds. So I space them apart, and I do it in February of each year. And it's indoors because there's not enough things you could do inside in the winter in this area, being upstate New York, that you could do with your dog. And so they can bring their dog and enjoy a cocktail or a beer, alcoholic beverage, but all for a good cause. It's entertainment, it's fun, and we do the same thing incorporated through Great Strides as far as inviting friends, family, customers, come out with your dog, and all for a good cause. We do a cookout, and I made the mistake of dressing like a dog in a giant blow up costume, and now I have to do it every year. It's great. It, but as far as the invites and stuff, I have a little thing here. So that's her. So she pretty much sells it. You can't say no to that. But then you partner with the dog, and you tell a little bit. These are the event details, and then on the back it tells a little bit more about her and her story, as well as what is cystic fibrosis and why is it important, to attend. Or it's okay if you can't attend, because you can click this QR code and show your support online. And so there's no reason why you shouldn't take this flyer. And so what we do is we hand it out to all of our customers here at Paws and Claws, as well as sending it in the email to friends, family, pretty much many different connections that we can make. And each year it is growing. as we, continue to get to know Buddy's owner, Scruffy's owner, who, it takes a little bit more for me to, over the years, continue to come out of my shell and asking, like Deb mentions, I put over way too much thought into overthinking about, I already asked them for their business, asking them for even more. It seems, kind of selfish, but at the same time, it's what would a mom do for her daughter, right? I used to be pretty closed off and private about sharing it, and now I think bringing more awareness to the situation of cystic fibrosis and what it is and why we need their help is more important than ever. And so I keep them updated on her progress and the difference that they make in such a short period of time. It was exciting when she just went on Orkambi when it became eligible for her age at 1. And I was like, hey, due to you guys donating, this is what happened. The timing was perfect. And then at the next fundraiser, it was, hey, because of your donations, now she's on Trikafta. And so it's like seeing it all come right before our eyes. It's really cool to witness in her health. It's a progressive disease, so we are, experiencing, different hurdles and difficulties there, as many are with the spectrum of severity. Right now, it's every 2 months back-to-back respiratory infections and pneumonia, and she was just fitted for her vest. So it's very, to get the point across it's not all good. And so I shared, some of the reasons why we need their help in making her life and everyone else's life with cystic fibrosis a greater quality with the access to the medications and money for research, and that we're very close to a cure, and we just need that to get there. With that, I like to do as I know Mary was mentioning the different sponsorships that we do, and I've continued to grow the corporate side of it. And Buddy's owner is now LaChase Construction or Colleen Wegman, and so it's getting out there and putting your story out there, but having more in-person conversations, feeling like you're hounding people, but it really they like you guys mentioned, they want to do good. Hey, thanks for reminding me for the 10th time about that event coming up, because I really wanted to go to that, and I'm glad I didn't miss it. Is mostly how the reaction that we get. And so I think every bit of the campaigning and the emails and the calls asking for their support make a difference and are worth it. My struggle, of course, is the procrastination. With every we're up to 70 staff members here at Pause, and I I count on the help of our team members to get that message across. It's a lot of intensive campaigning. This year we're doing button pins with the QR code, so you can just scan them. We always do the flyers, of course, but the website, I think, has a lot of great different aspects to it, and reaching that personalization of customizing the emails, pictures, and sending out to the people who have donated, thanking them, doing that follow-up, not only the asking, but the update of, how the fundraiser made out, as well as, I'll jump to some of the most successful aspects of the fundraiser, especially for Hops and Hounds. If you guys do a little bit of different, rather than just Great Strides, we also really incorporate a little silent a little silent auction with that as well. Silent auctions are great. You could pretty much relate to anyone that likes food, right? Likes maybe pets. Spa gift packages are very popular. alcohol is a huge popular one. And so we make those themed gift baskets, dinner and a movie. So you have a gift card to the restaurant, um, and Fandango, but not the local theater. And then have it with popcorn and snacks and candy. And we did different wine themes. So we did a rosé theme basket and a white wine and red wine. Um, different pets, uh, and such, gift cards. So corporate sponsors have played a huge role in not only, the matching gift fund, the different levels, 200, 500, 1,000, um, but also giving gift cards. And by just giving a gift card, we're able to, get things to make it that much more valuable. So a $50 Wegmans gift card is now, uh, whatever you think the value should be, right? When you partner it with sports memorabilia or anything like that, they, there's really not a price you could put on it based on the value of where it's at face value. Uh, and it's exciting. People like to, see what the other bid and try to outbid them. We do 50-50 raffles, not at the Great Strides Foundation though, because there's a lot of rules there. Not a real fan of the rules. So that the more things we can do that benefit the foundation, with you know, uh, but I think the more you can show people, hey, what you're doing is making a difference, is for a great cause, but also here's what you get out of it. Your dog has a good time. You get to win a whole bunch of free stuff. Yeah. So we do like different t-shirts. I design a different t-shirt each year. Here's one of the first ones. So it's Hops and Hounds. It's Blakely. And then I do like different thank yous that'll go out after it. So we'll do like a little update. There's me and the fam. There's her. This was a few years ago. And just talks about the difference that they made. And I thank them. I'll often do like pictures of, hey, this is how the walk went for those that couldn't attend. Um, and they can still donate with the link right there. It's not over, never over. But then they'll want to, catch the next one, or they'll want to, share it because they, can't attend, but they still want to show their support. It doesn't always have to be about, making a donation. It can also be their time. It could be, just spreading the word awareness. There's the dog costume. It's
Oh
great.
my God.
And I think it's so, I think you underscored and you make such a great point, like of just thanking, you all had kind of brought up, sharing the progress and sharing, how much everyone's donations have really, helped your loved ones and how much they've helped fuel the progress. And I feel like just like continuing to just share that message of, we're not done yet, but look at how far we've come and you've really helped, get us there. So I think that's so, and I love having the pictures in there. Patty, you got a question?
I would love Emily to explain how she secured a match for her Hops and Hounds and the impact it had on the bottom line for that event this year.
Yeah. So I said, how much do you like daycare? This is no, no, hold the dog hostage. No, basically, just seeing as those supporters who have been there since the very beginning. They always want to do more. They express they want to do more, and it's always thinking of the time and opportunity of when is the right time to ask, and how can I ask in a way that okay, they haven't said no yet. What's the best way? And sometimes it's taking them out for coffee or lunch or happy hour. And other times they're so busy with their schedules that just end up being just a text, right? Because we try to link up, and he's a busy guy. He works for paychecks, and I've watched his dogs for almost 8 years now, and each year he's a sponsor of the event, the Great Strides, the Hops and Hounds. Does like 2,500 each time, which is, wow, how could I ask for more? That's more than enough. Thanks. I don't even have to do any more fundraising. No, but matching gift fund, I thought would be a great opportunity to keep that momentum engagement over that period of time, right? So if you're looking forward to an event that's upcoming, right? So we're looking at Great Strides in May. How do you keep the your viewers or that you're reaching over social media or that will be attending? How do you keep them engaged, right? Usually there's the last minute people like me, just tell me the week before and then tell me the day of and I'll be there. But how do you get them to donate right now and show their support right now for, in an email that maybe they'll read the first sentence or do it when it gets closer. And that's through the matching gift fund. Hey, every dollar for dollar that you donate right now will be matched. It'll make double the impact. It goes twice as far. You got to do it now. And, it's only valid until the day of. So luckily we were able to get that, meet our goal of a matching gift fund. And that was 10,000 was the matching gift fund that we did. I didn't straight up ask for 10,000. I just said, hey, would you like to, be part of? I think it would really keep, our supporters engaged. And of course, make double the impact, go twice as far. If you did a matching gift fund, I think it's a great idea. And the event, is a couple months away. It was like 2 months away, less than that probably. I think it'll be a great way to reach our goal and even surpass our goal and exceeding it. He said, well, how much do you typically raise? Or I said, well, it's totally up. The amount is totally up to you. But the past few years has been around 10,000 or so. But any donation is more than appreciated. And he goes, okay, we'll go 10,000. And I'm like, oh, we got that. That's no problem. I already know now. Now we have that goal already. Wow, that's amazing. It really is. And so how do you thank someone that does more than your average, donation, right? There isn't enough gratitude. There isn't a long letter that you can write or acknowledgement that you can give them. But really, it's the photos. It really doesn't matter the amount that they donate, their time, the time that they give. I think having those photos, that gratitude, always, saying thank you and here's why. It's the more, they feel the gratitude that you're conveying, and they're more than happy to help in any way that they can. And just so happens that some people are fortunate enough to be able to donate more than others, but they would all donate 10,000 if they could. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. We have such a huge, amazing community, and Deb, you said it right when we started. Like, this is such a great big family, and we're fortunate to have such a supportive community, and it's amazing. And I'm sorry to cut you off, Emily. I want to be mindful of time and leave enough time for questions. We have 13 minutes left in the call, and I wanted to just, does anyone have questions for any of our presenters? Does anyone want to talk about some of their fundraising wins? Is there anything that anyone wants to share or ask? Feel free to just come off mute. Nicole.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, Amy. Good to see you.
You
Good to see
too.
everybody. Question for the long haulers. So my son is 15 with CF, so I've been doing this for 15 years. And I'm wondering how you guys kind of get over the hump of, you feel like you've been doing this forever. You feel like you've been hitting the same people over and over, and my God, they must hate seeing me coming. So how do you guys deal with that? Thank you.
Deb, jump on in.
Do we just jump in? That is such a good common, and I think and question, and I think for us it's been just being open to the fact that it's okay, you know, they will let you know that in terms of if you're thinking it's donor fatigue, I think that people really want to help. People really do want to help. And so for us, I find more people are grateful. And I worried about that at one point myself. And that's why we actually switched events. We were in charge of the gala. Our people were outpriced. It cost so much to go that we felt like we couldn't ask people anymore to do that. So we switched to Great Strides because we wanted something that didn't have any overhead. And so or very little overhead. And so that's how we solved that problem. And then we started, you know, and letting people know that any donation is appreciated. Emily did such a good job at saying how you do it. And actually everybody's been wonderful tonight in terms of what your ideas are. But I think that you just keep going because, like you say, it's your daughter, it's your son, it's your whoever. We have to do this. We're the parents. One thing I've started this year is letting people know how being part of CF research, was part of the Genome Project and has made these great discoveries with the gene, that the research from cystic fibrosis is helping other diseases. So it is helping cancer. I went with my mom to a cancer center. They said, your son has CF. I happen to mention it. He treated me like I was like a movie star. Really? Tell me more. He said, do you realize that the way we treat cancer today, this is from Boston, one of the big hospitals there, we've changed the way we treat cancer because of CF research. Sickle cell, asthma, you know, I was making some notes. I think diabetes, they're looking at letting people know that our fundraising has very little overhead. I also let people know that very little is going. We're one of the most efficient organizations in the world. I don't know that we are the one right now, so I don't want to give any facts that aren't correct, but we are definitely one of the ones. So letting people know that it's not just helping our son, it's also helping people you love. And I think that's made a big difference. Does that help? Maybe somebody else has something they want.
I agree.
Huge.
I've also mentioned that the phage studies and things like that are incredibly important for antibiotic resistance,
Right.
which is affects, you know, it's going to affect us all at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do every year I sit down and I do get that like, oh, how am I going to make this different this year? You know, but you do just have to do it. You just have to do it. And
I think no, go ahead. Not getting bogged down with like, how do I make it different? But like you said, if you're just presenting these people with different information, like new research, that is making it different. Some people that haven't donated, that have been seeing your posts for the last 12 years, something that they read this year could be, you know, it could hit them differently. Yeah. So I think just, you don't have to change your whole campaign. You don't have to, you know, add a new way of bringing in funds, but just sharing new information, I think, is one way to keep you feeling fresh and the people watching. And then I wanted to say one other thing about people. It motivates you when you raise more money. So that's motivating to you. But I think your donors also feel that. They see all the, like, they see your numbers, because we always at the end of the year we say, wow, we've raised this much. I don't think it's ever been less than it was the year before. So we are motivated to share that. We're proud of it. The people that helped us are proud, because that's their money that they, you know, they donated.
And we kind of use it as like a goal, like, hey, can we hit this and send some, like,
and it gives us a kind of a benchmark for the following year. And I think that motivates also your donors, not just, you know, us as fundraisers.
And then the whole, you know, like no donation is too small. A cup of coffee costs $7 now. Like, just, you know, give us a cup of coffee. Yeah, like in my day. But, you know, like those types of things, like no donation too small. But the fatigue is, it gets real. But I always find when I sit down and I write my letter out, something new pops in my head, and so I just get a new letter out. I don't know what it is, but you just have to do it. You know, like, just gotta do it.
There's always
I
something
wanted
new.
to add-
I mean, every year, that's
Yeah.
the beauty is, you know, he's in a different place, and I always talk about how the science relates to him and that. So, I mean, it always happens. It's just, I'm with you guys, like the word, poor Patty, she's gonna roll her eyes, but procrastination. I was just listening to a podcast today that talked about self-doubt, and self-doubt like leads to procrastination. I'm like, oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
I wanted to say that the other thing is you don't know what your donors are going through. I've been asking somebody for years for a donation, and I just, kind of put it out there. This year I got a very generous donation from somebody whose daughter's, one of her closest friends, had twins with cystic fibrosis.
Exactly.
I had one of my best friends who's been with us for 29 years was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis at age 60 something about 4 years ago. You just never know. You just never know what somebody else is going through. So just hang in there. And I also wanted to say, anybody wants to write me anytime, you can take any of my posts, you can have any of my stuff. I'd love to have contact with the people here so that I can reach out, so that we can be connected to each other. And I'm offering that for anybody who friends me. Just take my stuff. I want to share. And we
Same here. If anybody needs like a
yeah,
template or like a letter or a post, feel free to share.
If anyone needs QR codes created, like if you want to do a hard copy letter, just once again, I'm plugging like the staff help. Just reach out to the staff person at your chapter. Deb, I see you're going to be reaching out to Michelle tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can easily
Great.
get you a QR code that goes
Love
right
it.
to your fundraising page.
It's wonderful.
Any other questions? That was a great question, Nick. Anyone else?
Hey, this is Kim.
Hey, Kim.
Hi. I was listening, and I just wanted to give a plug in for what I do for extra fundraising. For those of you that don't know me, my husband has cystic fibrosis. He's 55 years old. Long story short, he was going to be listed for lung transplant, and he started Trikafta the day after he was going to be listed, and 3 months later, he was taken off the list. So that's my story. But every year, what I tie into my Great Strides story, or into my Great Strides campaign, and it is a lot of work and it's bust butt, but I do it. I do a Zumbathon and a basket raffle every year. I started doing it like 7 years ago. I thought it was just going to be one. It was just a simple Zumbathon. I think we raised like $500. And like you guys said, every year it gets more and more. So now this is going to be our 7th one. We've added basket raffle now. We have the Zumbathon. We give people free lunch. I have the superheroes come in. It's a kid-friendly event. And it's just something different. So for those of you that are also looking for new ideas, I mean, you don't have to go as far as a Zumbathon, but tie passion fundraising into your Great Strides campaign like a lot of these panelists do. And it really goes a long way. And start little. Like I started with one Zumbathon, I raised $500. Now I've raised well over 10,000, and this is going to be our 7th one. So never give up. Just like I said, no donation is too small, which is also my logo on every single post I put out there. No donation is too small. I don't care if you donate $5. It's all, like you guys said, it's all going into the same pot. It's all going for a cure. So I just wanted to kind of give that plug in for something that I do with the passion fundraising part of it, because a lot of people don't know that there is a passion fundraising part of the Great Strides campaign. And all the money I raise for the Zumbathon goes towards the campaign or towards my campaign. And we have a lot of fun. So think outside the box. You'd be surprised.
That's a great plug, Kim. Like right on your Great Strides participant page, you can link to a passion fundraising website, and you can customize your website to whatever type of event you want to do. And anything, any ticket sales, donations, go right to your fundraising page. So yeah, that's a great plug, Kim. Anyone else? Anyone want to share some successes? Anyone from our group want to share successes, or anyone have questions? We've got this we have our brain trust of fundraisers here, so take advantage of this. I want to mention Pat Feely, who is our Chief Development Officer. He gave an analogy because someone was talking about like, oh, my fundraiser is so insignificant. I'm not raising that much money. And he says, you know, we have chapters all over the country. You know, we have people who are doing fundraisers. Imagine this army of $1 bills all marching towards Bethesda, and all those dollar bills pile up. So we need every single one of those dollar bills. And I love that little, like, you know, think of a little cartoon dollar bill with little legs just marching towards. So I feel like that is, you know, you've all kind of touched on that. Like, no donation's too small. It all adds up. We need every single dollar.
The only other thing I was going to add is to Nicole, I think it was Nicole that brought up, you know, do you kind of get fatigued? I think the other thing is the only thing they can do is just not donate. You know what? We're not hurting by asking. And once they do read our letter or our blurb, they know why. You know, we're advocating for our kids. So, or sisters or daughters or sons or whoever, you know.
Absolutely.
Right. Good points. Thank you, everybody. I always do put that in there. I'm like, please forgive me, but for my son, I got to do it. I got to at least ask.
The only thing they can do is say no. Yeah, exactly.
Or not respond, which is totally fine.
And it could be because they forgot, or, you know, they're, you know, a lot of different reasons.
Mm-hmm. Another good thing I do is right before I write my campaign letter that I send out is I ask Julia what has changed. Like I sit down or give her a call and just ask her like what has changed this year, just so she can give me some ideas to make it even more personal. You know, like what are her fears, you know, like one year my focus was like on the political end of it, just because there was some bill going to Congress, the dismantling of some healthcare or something. That was really concerning to her. And then, like I said, this year is going to be Trikafta because she's no longer doing her breathing treatments, which is huge. And I think when people hear that, they're going to be like, you know, wow, I didn't even know she did breathing treatments every day, you know. Right. So it's always good to like get a personal.
So I see what,
where
their money's going.
Exactly. Personal story.
Yeah, and if anyone wants help, once again, I'm speaking out of turn, but I'm sure everyone's willing to share. If anyone wants to do letters or emails or look for content, I'm sure all of our presenters here are more than happy to share what they, you know, what they've got. So, you know, don't hesitate to reach out.
I think we want to share because your success is our success and vice versa. We are one big team. You're right. We're not competing with each other. We're helping each other to have success.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thank you all so much. This has been all sorts of fantastic ideas, and just I truly appreciate each and every one of you. So, you know, Kelly, Heather, Deb, Mary, Emily, thank you for sharing, you know, all your ideas, and thank you to Kim for chiming in too. And, you know, please lean on your fellow CF community, lean on your staff people in your chapter. We all want everyone to be successful. So I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time. And this has been recorded, so we will be sharing this at a later date.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Nice to meet you all. Emily,
Nice
I
to
want
meet
one
you
of your
all.
shirts.
We got plenty
Thanks,
of those.
I want one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.